Everyone, we know you already have seen 2 presentations and you have given one yourself, but we hope we can get a little bit of your attention. Today we will tell you something more about entrepreneurship. So we will answer questions such as, are people born as entrepreneur? Can people be trained to become an entrepreneur? Which aspects of your environment make you successful and which aspects are restraining you, and how can you use your strengths to compensate your disadvantages?
First of all, we are going to give you a definition of entrepreneurship. Hirschfeld and Peters say that entrepreneurship is creating something new with a value by putting enough effort and time in it, but also being aware of the risks, the financial risks, the psychological risks, and the social risks. Therefore, entrepreneur receives a compensation that's a monetary compensation, but also of personal satisfaction.
Now we have given you a very abstract explanation about what entrepreneurship really is, but actually we plan to focus on the person behind the entrepreneur, like you saw in the previous questions. The average entrepreneur isn't someone like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Most enterprises are small or medium-sized enterprises. But however, some entrepreneurs take the extra mile and they want something more than only the small enterprise. Take for example Colruyt. Colruyt is well known for its discount formula with a storehouse look, a particular efficient supply system, and a simplified way of working. Colruyt devotes itself to offer the lowest prices by its so-called red phone system. That's all because of the wish to offer a cheaper way of operating.
Everyone knows stories like one Colruyt, but not everyone has what it takes to break through. But there are some elements that which play in favor of an entrepreneur. First of all, you must have experience. Experience is very important, but when we talk about experience, we not only aim at experience as an entrepreneur, but also experience in the sector, and that's the most important. Know your market, because when there are unknown risks, they can drive the entrepreneur to bankruptcy.
Networking is another crucial element in the involvement of an entrepreneur's career. Networking can really open doors. You have to make sure that you know your people and make sure that people are passing your name. Keeping up private and professional contacts are very important and can be a real gain. You can think about the advantage of rumors from the corridors, and it's also advisable to be on good terms with your clients and your suppliers.
Being an entrepreneur, excuse me, also requires a lot of energy and effort. You have to be involved for more than 100% because developing a successful enterprise, trust me, it cannot be taken for granted. Also, besides the commitment, the involvement, and the energy you put in, you have to be passionate about what you do and what you are trying to achieve. Now, our next question, are people born as an entrepreneur, or is there genetic influence? So there is a study, and so scientists have compared twins, and they have found that there is a match for entrepreneurship. However, this match is higher for identical twins than for fraternal twins.
So far, the connection between genetics and entrepreneurship. But this is not the only influence that we can experience. Now, I have a little question for you. At the start of the presentation, we said our focus is on the influence on entrepreneurship, on entrepreneurs. Now, did it occur to you that the environment can also affect the tendency towards entrepreneurship? Yes? No? Maybe? It seems it didn't. Time to take a look closer then.
This brings us to family businesses, where it is very common that people whose parents owns a family business take it over eventually. In the meantime, the parents transfer their knowledge, their experiences, their attitudes towards entrepreneurship. As an example, I will briefly introduce to you the Belgian family De Klerk. De Klerk is owner of a fabric production called Beaulieu. Beaulieu is the European market leader in the production of floor coatings and upholstery fabrics. In the early 90s, the company was split up in 7 parts between De Klerk and his 6 children. These branches became independent from one another. But due to changing market conditions, the 5 of the 7 branches merged into Beaulieu International Group.
Besides the influence through family, there is also an influence from the workplace. Study shows that an employee is more probable to become an entrepreneur himself if his colleagues have had former self-employment experience. The latter can provide the colleague with information and, about how things work and with experiences. Furthermore, while working on a company, many employees get new innovative ideas, and the company can adopt these ideas or reject them. It's a trade-off of which the outcome has a considerable effect on the employees because it can make him feel frustrated or not being valued, and therefore he can choose to become an entrepreneur. An example of a company who stimulates innovation is 3M, where workers have 1 day a week to enhance their creativity. 3M is well known for its Post-its.
Other aspects that also have an influence of whether or not people become an entrepreneur are recession. There is proof that when the economy goes through a crisis, people are stimulated more to make a sorry about that to become an entrepreneur. Also, being almost retired and being unemployed. For the latter one, we have a great example from Ben & Jerry's. 2 guys started making ice cream while being unemployed, and when they needed money, well, we all know their story by now. Now we have attended some aspects from the environment. We will give you 5 secrets for successful entrepreneurship. Therefore, we use the revelations of Richard Branson. Maybe you don't know his name, but I'm pretty sure you all know his group, the Virgin Group. It's a very successful company with a lot of different products. His first secret is that you have to enjoy what you do. When you have an enterprise or a company and you want to make it successful, you never stop working. So you might as well enjoy while you're working. The second one is to create a unique product. You have to make a product or to find a product that distinguishes itself from one another. And also you have to believe that it's very rare. If you already believe it, other people will more easily believe it. His third one is to make sure that your employees are satisfied. Create a good atmosphere on the work floor so that they are happy that they can come to work instead of being grumpy. Then also, as we have mentioned earlier, listen to your employees. They can have really great ideas. They can have ideas that can be your next product, so listen to them. And also his last but not least secret is don't hide yourself, don't work behind the desk. When you want to be successful, go out, connect with other people, other managers, employees, and so on. Write down their notes, their questions, their marks, so they can be very useful for you in the future.
Besides the successful keys, there are obviously some don'ts. There are 5 don'ts. The first one is an unclear goal and mission. You have to have a clear mission. A clear mission is like a map that helps you lead to the road of success. The second one is trying to prove that you are smarter. The third one is greed. And the fourth one is hiring people you like rather than people you need. Sometimes it's even better to hire people you don't entirely agree with. And the last one is not knowing when to let go. That means that sometimes it's better to keep your company modest instead of trying to enlarge it. And consequently lose efficiency and control of the situation. If some don'ts are not clear, we are willing to explain them more after the presentation.
We already told you that entrepreneurs can be born, but can they be taught? It may be useful to give courses and management training to young entrepreneurs. These courses might help them to increase their success rates, and consequently they contribute to the entrepreneurial world.
To end, we want to point out that entrepreneurship is also about using your positive points to compensate your disadvantages. It's highly advisable to use your talents to compensate for the areas where you lack experience or personal skills by seeking partnerships or hiring the right people. An example is the dyslexic people. A study shows that there is a strong link between entrepreneurship and dyslexia. Dyslexics are attracted to running a own business where they can conquer their disability by developing compensatory skills and by being exceptionally creative about moving around obstacles.
Okay, we hope that through this presentation we were able to show you that people are exposed to several impulses and phases in their life that can lead them to entrepreneurship. And we hope one day we can apply the study of influences on the entrepreneurs among us. Thank you very much for your attention. And are there any questions?